And I'm here to say, hello. That's what I'm here to say. I just came to say hello. Newton, Isaac, or New Jersey? The answer, of course, is New Jersey. Because that's where I am tonight. I had a choice between Old Jersey and New Jersey, and I went with New Jersey. Sorry I got a little distracted at the end of that conversation, Rachel, if you're here. I was looking at something on my phone. There. I sure am making good time. Unfortunately, where I got off the highway was not a very good spot. So I had to drive quite some distance down here to this hotel. I found myself on these little country roads. You don't think of New Jersey as being the country, but it certainly is around here. Complete with like barns and antique shops, other kind of bougie, bougie country living stuff. Oh, I want to live out in the country. Brother, you don't want to live out in the country, trust me. I've been doing that. I've been living out in the fucking boonies, and you don't want to do that. Hi, Victoria Q. I hope you're doing well today. So, I had a pretty long day. Not a difficult day. Pretty straightforward day. Like, no, I didn't really hit any traffic or anything. Made good time. I went all through Indiana, all through Pennsylvania, and Ohio as well, right? Yeah, Ohio, the rest of Indiana, Ohio, and then Pennsylvania. That's what I went through today. Now I'm in New Jersey. I'm in Sussex County. That's right. Hi, Sam Gloves. Not only am I in Sussex County, I'm in the county seat of Sussex County, beautiful Newton, New Jersey. I didn't intend to end up here. I was hoping, assuming kind of, that I'd find a hotel quick enough off the highway. I was wrong. The thing that made me decide to turn where I did was there was a sign that said Andover. I thought, that's the name of a college, so there must be a college right here, and I should go find a hotel near the college because they're going to have hotels near the college. Well, I don't think it's the same Andover. I think the college is not here in this Andover. I went through Andover, Andover Township. Yeah, well, when I looked at maps a little while ago, it said if I were to leave now to go to Franklin Square, it would take 3 hours and 20 minutes. But of course, now is rush hour. So I don't know. Tomorrow morning is not going to necessarily be the greatest time to go either, but we'll see how it goes. If it takes me 3 more hours to get there, no big whoop. I can do 3 hours standing on my head. given, like today it was a solid 12-hour, no, yeah, it was, yeah, it was about 12 hours, 12-hour day. But it's not really that bad, you know? I could conceive of putting in 16-hour days and maybe not loving it, but being fine. Once I resolved some of the discomfort that I was enduring initially, that I needn't have endured because I just needed to arrange things a little differently. Scoot my seat back, utilize this cushion I brought along, and of course the important addition, really maybe the most important addition to the driving rig, is the roll of paper towels. Roll of paper towels back here was perfect. That supported exactly where in my shoulders I tend to get sore. That worked out great. It did get a little flat after a while, the roll of paper towels. So then I folded it in half and then it started working fine again. Maybe even better than ever. So if you want some kind of neck head support in your car, don't go buy an expensive support pillow. Use a roll of paper towels. And that's one to grow on. As an influencer, I'm once again influencing you. I'm not influencing you to go to Best Western today because I'm not at the Best Western. Instead, I'm here at the Holiday Inn Express. I could not afford to be picky once I was highway already and having trouble finding a hotel. So I just had to take this one. Right. Designated soaking area. Today I managed to avoid any problems with the truck. Yesterday I had a couple of issues where I got a little ambitious in terms of which gas stations to go into, and I had trouble successfully getting out of it without scraping the side of it or something. But I successfully did so. It was it was a tight squeezed, close call, kind of have to inch it along. Look at these beautiful clouds. The East Coast is so beautiful. It's so much more green than California. It's no wonder people like to live over here. I love the Memphis Zoo. Haha, that's cool. The Memphis Zoo. Where in the world is Eric's U-Haul now? It's in New Jersey. He streams daily. See you, Rachel. I found a fellow streaming from Memphis who looks like Host Eric Washington in the hopes that he's an ENTP. He is not. Liver Cheese is his name, and he's friendly and pleasant. Liver cheese, huh? Well, that's an interesting name. Tomorrow's the last day of full blast of work. I mean, when I get back to Mariposa, there'll be plenty to do. I'll have more bits of work to accomplish. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. I may have to put in some time and effort when I get back into the hill. But regardless, tomorrow is going to be a day. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. It's going to be a somewhat difficult day. I'm going to have to do a lot of manual labor, which is fine. I don't dislike doing manual inherently at all. Generally, if I I'm back. I was wondering if you liked the view. This view? It's nice. It's beautiful. Look at those clouds. They're crazy, but bazy. Have I had a chance to eat anything interesting today? No. What I've eaten today is 2 donuts and a McDonald's. I made a tragic oversight when I left the hotel this morning. I forgot and left a half of a Jimmy John's sandwich. I kicked my several hours down the road. Take the car for a buffer in her body. I mean, maybe if I go over there more. I'm supposed to smoke here. I don't really want to smoke a cigarette anymore. I'm visiting my boyfriend. I want to go to the zoo, and downtown seems fun. I'm only there for 3 days, though. Okay. Well, then you can only do one of those 3 things. You can either visit your boyfriend, you can go to the zoo, or you can go downtown. That's it. Don't be so greedy and try to do like a billion things. I suggest you go to the zoo for 3 days and then go back home. If your boyfriend really loves you, he'll understand. Okay, I'll make the legs longer. So I don't know if you guys heard, but R.I.P. to country music's grand dame, Dolly Parton. Founder of Dolly World. Come on. There we go. Okay. Dolly Parton today dead at age 80. It's unfortunate. All of Tennessee is in mourning. So I guess am I still having connectivity issues? That's what I'm guessing. Okay. Well, the internet here is terrible, but let's go see if we can get a little bit better internet inside. I don't know. I've not had any luck with it thus far, particularly, but Maybe good enough to stream like over here someplace. There, maybe this is better. Now I'm inside, and they've lost someone this year. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I did it. That's horrible. That's super horrible. I think she got a lot of plastic surgery, you know. I'm looking at uh, video of her, and I don't think her lack of wrinkles is naturally occurring. Call me a skeptic, call me a cynic, call me whatever you like. I'm not buying it, Dolly Parton. I'm not buying it. I got some news for you, Dolly Parton. We are not islands in the stream. What do you think about that? Too soon? Too soon to make jokes about Dolly Parton? They've got Shark Tank on over there. It's annoyingly they have the volume on. Like, this TV is on right here, but it's just on captions. So this was a reasonably priced hotel at $139. And it's fun. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go eat here at some point. I don't really want to eat at Applebee's, but I don't want to walk a super long distance either to someplace to eat. And also, I don't want to take the truck and trailer because it's too big and too challenging to both, drive and also, more importantly, to park. Because if you go into the wrong parking lot with that thing, you are fucked. Was Dolly the clone lamb named after Dolly Parton? I don't know. I don't know. Fox Local New York. That's what channel's on right now on this TV. This is Gustavino's, right by the Trader Joe's. If you're familiar with that area, I wonder if that's the Trader Joe's that Rachel worked at. Is the Trader Joe's that Rachel worked at near Gustavino's? Well, today that local event space, Gustavino acknowledged that it has since removed signs, plaza, identifying the space as being private. The city is now working with the venue to figure out a way to keep the plaza open to the public while allowing the event space to keep using it for event-related egress and safety means at lawsuits seeking a court declaration confirming public access. Putting the spotlight on this larger debate, which again, as I say, continues to flare up throughout the city. these public-private spaces gets pretty tricky every trying to make a claim to what is public space. I mean, how could there be complete competing claims? Either somebody owns it or they don't. Oh, Dolly Parton. So, don't have a whole lot to say tonight, really. I thought about various things as I was driving. Well, mostly I listened to YouTube videos.
Hey, bud, you got me. What's
And,
up? Working, trying to get done, man. I haven't gone. Some of the guys go, some don't, you know. I'm drinking a few beers with Mark or something. Pick on the one guy,
I listened to at least one video today about bricks and minifigs, which is one of my favorite topics. Those scoundrels, let me tell you, they are shockingly allergic to anything, any form of real accountability. It's insane the way they use this ridiculous, legalistic doublespeak to try to say they're making an unqualified apology in their statement when they're qualifying it to shit in every other sentence. The poster in the background is giving you an aneurysm. Well, were you looking to have one? If so, you're welcome. I like this kind of table that has plugs in the middle of it. You know? This is great. What is it? Oh, this is a wireless charger. It's got wireless chargers and plugs in the middle of it. Don't you wish all tables had that? Well, let's evaluate the different posters we have so we can see what they all are. So, you talking about the one that says Newton on it over here? Because that's just one of several posters. Actually, you know, for hotel art, it's certainly better than the Best Westerns last night. At first, I just thought this was like just kind of shapes, but then I saw, oh, there's some legs up there. You don't like this one, Newton? And the J is for New Jersey, I guess. This one, yeah, you know, it's fine. Like I said, it's better than that than the hotel art last night. This is fine. This wall is kind of cool. I'm assuming that must be New Jersey. And the Holiday Inn Express has got some snacks for sale, including frozen pizzas. Wow. Look at that. Gummy bears. Everything you could ever want in a snack. Right there. Let's see. There's another poster here. More shapes. Three-dimensional shapes. This one, I don't know about this one. It's just a little too, just super bland, I guess. Well, I mean, it's nice that you know what floor you're on. See this big one right here on the wall. Welcome to floor 1. What else do we got around here to look at? What's over here? The fitness center. I have nothing down here. All right, well, yeah, that's the one. It's the only one. And look at this. This hotel's got all of these medals. They got Best Torch Carriers 2016 and Best Torch Carriers 2009. What have you done in the last 10 years, though? Oh, 2023. Wow. They've earned a lot of torches. Quality Excellence Award. Quality Excellence Award sounds kind of like the award Homer Simpson wins, called the what do they call it? The Award for Achievement in the Field of Excellence. Spirit of True Hospitality. Highest guest satisfaction. Oh, these are recent too. So, you know, obviously the Holiday Inn people, they're like, you guys are killing it here in Newton, New Jersey. We're really pleased with your hotel. Okay, so let's go back into my room here for a little bit. Hopefully we'll still have adequate reception in there. You know, it's down the hall, so one might imagine it's got worse internet than out here in the middle. But we'll park me in the back. I hope they didn't park too close to me in front of me, because like I gotta have a certain amount of space to pull out, or else I'll be stuck, because obviously I can't back that thing up very much at all. All right. I will be happy to be done staying in hotels after tonight. But I'm going to have to work hard tomorrow to have an actual place to sleep tomorrow night, because I'm going to have to get the box spring, the mattress, and the bed frame out of the truck, and they're as inconveniently placed in the truck as possible. They're all the way to the front. So I'm going to have to get everything out of there tomorrow in order to be able to sleep in bed tomorrow night. Let's see if I can pull you up on the Computadora. Input. I need to put my glasses on. Input is where? Ah, there we go. Goodbye, V. Goodbye, Victoria Q. Gotta do cool people stuff. I would love to stay, but the committee has summoned me away, and by committee, cool people, I mean my dog. Wow, your dog is quite a cool person. So let's see. I think what I'll do before I end the stream is I'm going to research what food there is to eat around here. Uh, Probably it, but let's see what's in walking distance. There we go. Pull up the live stream. Here we are. There is no coffee pot in the U-Haul. I have gotten coffee fairly often while I've been traveling, but not as often as you might think. Today I got it a little bit more than previous days. All tricks. Do you know what LARPing is? Yes. Live action role play. I do know what it is. Do I want to do it? No. All right. So, food near me. Five Guys is 0.1 miles away. Huh, that seems findable. Mr. Beast Burger is nearby, but it only has 2 stars. How does it even stay open? If I wanted to go to a restaurant that has 4.9, I could go to La Casa de Campo, but I'd probably have to take the car. That's almost a mile away. I don't want to walk that far. It's a lot of walking. Five Guys would be fine. I could eat Five Guys. I have had a lot of burgers this trip. I haven't really had anything. Well, I had a Jimmy John's sandwich last night. But other than that, I haven't really had anything but burgers this trip. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Applebee's either. Yeah, I've had Five Guys plenty of times. Five Guys is good, but like I said, I've had a lot of hamburgers lately. Five Guys has delivery apparently, so anyway. I could get something to deliver here. Amato's Pizzeria, Newton. I wonder if they deliver. There's someplace recently opened here. Rices Colombianas. It's also 0.8 miles away. Amato's Pizzeria is 0.6 miles away. I don't really want to walk a half mile even, but a tenth of a mile, which I gotta go to get to Five Guys, that seems very doable. If I really wanted to go crazy, I could drive to this Thai restaurant. It's 1.3 miles away. I don't think I want Thai. I think I want to go get something and bring it back here and eat it. Hmm. Anthony Franco's Restaurant and Pizzeria, they have delivery, but I don't know if they deliver to here. How far away is it from where I am? I could call them and see if they deliver to the hotel here. That wouldn't be so bad, I guess. A lot of pizza places. Well, I guess I'm on the East Coast. Shouldn't come as so much of a surprise, I guess. Directions to this pizza place. I want to see how far away it is. Okay, so looks like it takes it's about 10 miles away. That may be too far for them to deliver. I could try a different pizza place though. And there's also Amato's Pizzeria, Newton. I don't know if they deliver though. Oh, it says they order delivery. Well, it has a button that says order delivery. Oh, that would be nice. Oh, they don't deliver themselves. Oh, they do deliver themselves. Amato's Pizza to Go.com. Hmm. I could do that. Then 5 miles with a $10 minimum, a $4 delivery charge, and a 7% online convenience fee. How far is Amato's from the hotel? Let's find out. It says it's in Newton, but okay. Directions. It is 0.9 miles away. So I could get their pizza. All right, let's do it. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's order Amato's Pizza delivery. And we'll see how it goes. As soon as possible at 8:15 p.m. Okay, set order time. All right, I'll get a garlic bread, add to order. And then I'll get a um, I'll get a chef salad, add to order. And then I could get pizza, or I could get a calzone or a sausage roll. Baked rolls, meat roll, sausage roll, or I could get a sub sandwich. Ooh, they have chicken parm sub. That's what I want. I'm gonna get that. Add to order. Details, check out. Okay. Hmm. Well, this will be my second expensive-ish meal. I had one other meal on this trip that was $40. This is gonna cost me $40 too. Now I have to find out what the address of this hotel is. Okay. Holiday Inn Express. Um, Newton, New Jersey. Find out what the zip code is here. What is the zip code for Newton, New Jersey? 07860. 07860. 07860. Is that what it said? Yeah. Phone number. Room 103. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your order. We received your order. Your order number is 45. All right. My order number is 45. Means I just have 44 people in front of me. Sure, it doesn't actually mean that. Well, now I don't have to go get food. They're going to bring me not only chicken parm sub, hot sub sandwich. They're also going to bring me a salad and garlic bread. I've got bottles of water in the car. I've got some water here as well. They say it'll be here around 8:15. That's not too bad. That's relatively soon. It's currently 7:30 East Coast time. My watch is still on California time, but it's about time I change that. What did Eric order? Eric ordered a chicken parm hot sub, a chef's or a house salad, and an order of garlic bread from Amato's Pizzeria, sometimes called New Jersey's finest. But there definitely are a lot of pizzerias around here. And I'm not even in New York yet. We're not even in that part of New Jersey yet. So I think we all know what that means. It's pizza time. So this part of New Jersey is not the Sopranos part of New Jersey. This is nothing like the Sopranos at all. Because, you know, when I think of New Jersey, I think of the Sopranos. They're sitting out in front of their little Italian deli on the street there in New Jersey. They got their strip club they go to. This is not like that at all. So, my conclusion, as should be yours, Sopranos have lied to me. Okay. Let's combine these two unfinished cups of coffee into one. Let's retain the McDonald's cup and dispatch it with this Holiday Inn Express cup. There we go. Then we can go out front, have a cigarillo, and just keep our eyes peeled, make sure if the pizza guy gets here quick that we notice him so that he's not like, nobody's in that room. I'm right here, pizza guy. Chill out. Okay. I believe we've got everything we need except for your mom. But she called me and said she's on her way. And then I just immediately left it in here. What did I do that? It's right here. Physical objects, what are you doing? Always running away from me, hiding your head in a bashful fashion. So, is Rachel here still? Hi, Gil. Rachel was supposed to meet with the prospective cleaning lady who's gonna give our house a good cleaning before we put it on the market. You know, this lady named Coco. Rachel's supposed to meet with her today. Oh, did you meet with her yet? No arrival yet, huh? What time is it? Like 4:30? Whoa, beautiful! Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunset. With the moon there, it's very picturesque. human trafficking. See the beauty. And then look over here at this. Ooh. That's a fancy cloud. Wait. There. Now you can see it. Above the Applebee's. Applebee's should use that advertising campaign. Oh, this horrible freaking tripod. I've got to get a different tripod. This does not work for shit. Anyway. Alright. Gotta go stand over here. I forgot. I will do so. Psychology of Rock just uploaded personality types of guitar players. Huh. Okay. That's a little bit better. Psychology of Rock equals personality types of guitar players. I want to contribute to the conversation, but my mind is blank. Well, you know what they say, blank mind, blank check. So, you should be happy about that. Of course, if your mind's so blank, you're not feeling anything. Well, there's Five Guys, I see it. It's right down there. It was like more than 1/10 of a mile away. I'm glad I didn't try to walk down. Took a short walk in the Pennsylvania woods today to smoke a joint. It's up this rest area, and just woods behind the rest area. So I took a little walk in the woods. You know, you always hear about in movies and television these mountains called the Poconos. I'm sure you've heard of them, because I guess it's a mountains that people from New York go to, which is probably why it's why you hear about it so much. It's like you know things you hear about from movies and TVs that have to do with New York include the Poconos. It includes the Hamptons. You're familiar with that? Probably same thing. And same kind of thing. And well, those are the only two that come to mind at the moment. But I'm sure there's more. Anyway, turns out Poconos are real mountains. They actually exist. They're not just some made-up place that they're using in the script of some show, you know. Your mom was talking about the Poconos yesterday, huh? I find the Delaware Water Gap to be very interesting. What is that exactly? Why is it called that? It's not in Delaware. And what qualifies as a water gap? The answer is nobody knows. At least not here in Newton, New Jersey. Maybe Isaac Newton knows because he's so smart. A pizzeria, pizzeria, have some pizza now. A pizzeria, 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 how? That's my tribute to Italy, you know? My tribute to the Italian pizzeria. I heard an interesting video about the Nancy Guthrie case. You guys, I'm sure, have heard of it a little bit at least. And I got distracted by the information on the water gap and the Jersey Shore. If that is her real name. And frankly, I doubt it is her real name, because who named their daughter Snooky? Hi, Putty Cat. How you doing? So yeah, the New Jersey you see on TV is obviously the New Jersey that's close to New York City, because this New Jersey is very different. I'm doing pretty good. I ordered some pizza from a local pizzeria here, and I will. It's getting delivered. It's in the pizzeria's delivery range, just 0.1 miles away from it. So they deliver here. And I am pretty hungry. All I've had to eat today was 2 donuts in the morning, and I had, double quarter pound of cheese meal for lunch, but that was quite a while ago now. Your family started in Bear Country Jamboree? Oh, I didn't know you knew such famous bears, for instance, Mom. It's from North New Jersey. It's Bear Country, huh? I doubt there are bears here. This isn't North New Jersey, but I guess they said it was 60 miles northwest of New York City, but I don't really know, like, exactly where New Jersey is in relation to New York. But driving through this part of the state, it makes sense why they might call it a garden state. That never made any sense to me. Just looking at the way New Jersey was portrayed on TV and stuff. Field driving back here, and it's shocking the country that is covered in cornfields. I saw them obviously all through Nebraska, through Iowa, Indiana. I mean, um, not so much through Illinois, but still maybe a little bit. I didn't see really any coming through Pennsylvania. Now in New Jersey, we got more corn. So I guess America grows a lot of corn. Yeah, I know. I need to get out the repellent. I'm not I shouldn't have any corn in tonight's meal. I'm getting garlic bread, a salad, and a chicken parmesan sandwich. So, should be pretty corn free, I would expect. I heard trouble meowing at Rachel to watching me earlier. And, you know, sounds like he's allowing her to watch him eat. I'm gonna remind him of that when next time we're together and he says I watch him eat. I'm like, you already proved you could have Rachel watch you eat. And he'll go, phooey. I think people should use that term more often, the expression. Phooey. Phooey. Don't you think so? This room is fine. He let me pet him yesterday. He's still guarding the front door. Well, he's settling into an Ericless reality for a little while, I guess. It'll be nice to see you and the cats again. Now, I think it's at Phooie. Tonight's chair, right. Well, there's a couple of chairs in here. If I wanted to get like Cleopatra style luxuriant, when I got my food, I'd sit right here on this chair and eat it like this. How luxuriant is this? This is pretty nice, right? You could totally chill here, got the TV there, little table, this nice chaise lounge, and have somebody feed me peeled grapes. Because nothing is more delicious than a peeled grape. Except maybe a deviled grape. Squish up the inside of the grape, add a little mayonnaise and a little paprika, and you can enjoy deviled grapes. Sometimes called the potluck of fruit. The other chair that's in here is right there. It's this orange chair. It's also very comfortable. Balula, sent up with a platter full of unpeeled grapes. I hate having to take meds that make me feel like mental castration. Better than being driven mad by voices, though, I guess. Well, it would be cool if you could find a better medication that works without doing that to you. I don't feel like Rachel feels that way on her medication. Well, Putty Cat, I have to say that I think I liked the first Best Western chair better than the second Best Western chairs. And this chair is quite nice. I can't shit on this chair. This is exactly the sort of chair you might expect to have in a Best Western, but they have it here at the Holiday Inn Express. Or meaning street cred. Okay, well, okay, but I don't think your street cred can be colors. I'm not sure if the Ottoman is named after the empire or not. At some point, they gave up on trying to be an empire and called themselves Turkey. There's one med that might spare some of my cognition and creativity. It's called Coberfee. I'm too afraid to stop or switch from my current medication because it does work. Well, I guess it must be pretty unpleasant to experience the unmitigated expression of the mental illness. Meds can stop working if you stop them and try going back on them again. Really? Huh. That's weird. That's a tough reality to deal with that you got there. I mean, in general, I don't like things that are that require you to make a compromise either way. You know. Cobenfy targets cholinergic meh, using a unique mix of xanomeline and trospium chloride, avoiding common movement and weight side effects. What about what about like cognitive fog side effects? I'm here. I'm lame and sober without needed meds as usual. You're not lame. The mirror in this room is a hexagon. Hopefully, I'll sleep a little better tonight than I've been sleeping. I mean, I've been sleeping, I guess, not terribly, but not for a super long time. I need to come in.
Hello.
Hi.
Harry?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.
Have a good night.
Don't worry, I tipped him on the card, so you're thinking like, wow, you didn't even give him a tip? I did give him a tip. Wow, there's a lot of food. There's a lot more food than I expected. Look at this salad. Wow, I was expecting just a little salad. This looks pretty good. I like how it came in a box. Let's give this a try. Chicken Parmesan sandwich. Mmm. Well, I mean, it sounds to me like if you were convinced that if you stopped taking your current meds and that one that you wanted to try didn't work, that if you went back on your current meds, that they would work fine. If you could have that assurance, would you try it out? Hand wash. They call it hand wash, but they could just call it soap. No, we're not going to call it soap. That's not fancy enough for the Holiday Inn Express. We're calling this stuff hand wash. A lot of people report nicotine improving symptoms. Oh, there's no fork. How am I going to eat this salad? What? Where am I moving to? Moving to New York City. Hmm. I do feel as though I have on it. I think most of all, what I'm proud of myself for on this trip is that I've been very mindful of the difficulties that can ensue if you're not careful enough with the big truck and trailer. Mm-hmm. Dolly Parton died today. She died of fright. She saw a ghost and that was it. Wait, you're trying to tell me that Dolly Parton was a cock? That's not very nice. What made you decide to move to New York? Well, Rachel's dad lives there and her brother as well, but I think we're both looking forward to spending some time with her dad. And Trisha, her dad's girlfriend. But another good reason to go to New York is it's a city rather than out in the boonies where we've been living. It's not just any city, it's the Big Apple. Of course, We're not actually moving to New York City. We're moving to Long Island. I don't know. What am I supposed to do with this salad? I don't have any fork. Yeah, pretty soon I'm gonna be back in the New York groove. No, I don't have any I Heart New York t-shirt. But that seems like the kind of thing that tourists would wear. I'm a native New Yorker now, born and raised. I guess I could just eat it with my fingers. It'd be cool to put some dressing on it, but then how am I going to eat it with my fingers? Mm, that's good, even without any dressing on it. Do apples have potassium? Looks like some good garlic bread, right? That is so garlicky. It tastes like a big spoonful of straight garlic. I do like garlic a lot, so that's fine. Mmm, a good idea, show media. You really put on your thinking cap there. Instead of putting the dressing on a salad, put the salad in the dressing. It's a good idea. We'll see how much I like their Italian dressing in the process. Yeah, I will say, maybe this dressing is not quite as good as Mama Petrillo's Italian dressing. It's been a long time since I had that. It tastes like the flavor of old Italy. Pepe's Pizza is really good. New Haven, Connecticut, huh? Well, this is Amato's. Amato's Pizzeria. Pride of Newton, New Jersey. That's the Juicy Lucy. I don't know if they sell fig Newtons in Newton, but I'm assuming that they try to Newton a lot of things here. You never really hear about other kinds of Newtons besides fig, but presumably you could Newton any number of things. The only real mistake I made on this trip, of the sort that you could easily enough make, is leaving that have a sandwich in the fridge yesterday. Other than that, I've not forgotten anything or left anything behind or lost anything. That's pretty good, because that's definitely something I'm susceptible to. Yeah, I'm already through Indiana. I stopped at this place called, well, the Best Western was called Indian Oak. I forget what. Oh, Chesterton. That's what it was called. I stopped in Chesterton, Indiana last night. Was that just last night? I guess so. Look at this big cheese and meat and olive flour. Mm. I don't think I've ever tried valerians. Seems like a bad idea. I think that qualifies as getting high. It's more like poison. Let me check that text, see what that was all about. She did. Maybe she but which is kind of rare. Hallucinate audio kind of a little bit every time I get sufficiently tired. I hear it in the background of the sound of water in the shower, or in the background of air coming through the window when I'm driving or something. I hear this, like, just barely out of reach music playing in the background. Sometimes it's less out of reach than others, I guess. Dodgy connection. Yeah, it is. Well, Holiday Inn Express, for all of its many charms, uh, fantastic internet is not among them. But I suspect I will see Rachel's dad on Thursday. I asked Rachel to chat with him about possibly helping me get the trailer hooked back up to the truck. Because obviously, to unload the truck, I'm going to have to detach the trailer from it. And then to return the truck and trailer, I'm going to have to reattach the trailer to it. The thing is, it's not absolutely impossible to reattach it by yourself, but it's more difficult than most any other thing you might have to do by yourself. Like, I'd rather have to back up the thing by myself, which is incredibly difficult, but with the attaching the trailer by myself, you have to back it up so that the ball that the trailer attaches to sits directly underneath, and there's not a lot of, like, you need to be like within a half inch or something. You can't, you're not going to successfully reattach it unless you're that close, and it's hard to get that close because you can't see behind the truck at all. There's no visibility whatsoever of the thing you're trying to move into this. It's like, you've got this thing about this big, and then a ball right here, and then it's a position it here, and then lower it down on top of it. So it's pretty hard to do by oneself. Are you leaving the U-Haul in New York? Yes. I am. I'm not driving back at all. No. I've got the bong in the car. I'm gonna unload all the stuff, move us into the apartment, and then I'm gonna get a ride to the airport from Rachel's dad, fly to Sacramento, rent a car, go to Mariposa, finish up our last little bits of business there for a couple of days, and then me and Rachel and the cats will drive back to Sacramento, drop off the rental car, and fly back to New York. And the thing is, it's like, it is definitely not cheaper to drive across the country than it is to fly. Maybe it would be with a car if you slept in the car, possibly, but you know, driving that big truck, well, I don't know how many times I filled up the gas tank, but it, I would say, took a full two fill-ups a day, and it took more than two fill-ups a day because there was a little bit of a longer day. And so, if we're talking 5 or 6 days of that, well, 10 or 12 fill-ups of gas at $150 a pop, or depending on what part of the country you're in. Like Indiana had the cheapest gas of any of the places I drove through. I saw 369 one place. I think that was the cheapest I saw, which is like a full $2 cheaper than California's gas. It's ridiculous. You like this? How the good lighting I got here? I got lighting from right over there. So It looks like I'm doing a one man show on Broadway. You throwing a party and inviting to chat at your new place? Um, well, as far as the shroom parts go, I could take it on Friday. I think I took it last on Saturday. No, maybe I took it last on Sunday. That was only a couple days ago. So I'm gonna have to wait a while. I'm not gonna be able because I don't want to do it when I run out of Adderall. I'm gonna run out of Adderall like Friday, I think. And then, I'm apparently gonna get more Adderall on the second, even though it's early, because Dr. Ingram wants to like make sure I'm set up for when I'm in New York and he can no longer prescribe it for me. Caffeine's a pretty mediocre stimulant. It's not even a stimulant at all. It's just like, I don't know. It doesn't seem to stimulate me at all. Talk to the cleaning lady. They're gonna try to give us an estimate tonight. Okay, cool. Being straight is its own kind of high and trip. No, it definitely is the alternative to those things. It's the thing that is, if you don't get loaded at all, if they're not high nor tripping out, then that's what that is. Obviously, like any normal person, I love mushrooms. Love, love, love them. But these days, I try to be smart about them. I should say, take them only not more than once a week. Alright, cool. There's nobody in front of me. I'll be able to pull out of there, no problem. I would love to go out there and pull some bong rips, but that door doesn't open, and I suspect I'm not going to have any bars out there. I mean, I'm not going to have any Wi-Fi. I should have just started the live stream on bars, because once you start it on Wi-Fi, then it's going to... What? Trip's going good. I'm in the Garden State, New Jersey. And I'm in the country, rural part of it. It's, you know, if you're like me, you think of New Jersey as being what they show on The Sopranos. But this part of New Jersey is not like that at all. This part of New Jersey is bougie countryside. You know, rich white people playing at being farmers. gosh, Darren. This is so perfect. We have chickens. We've got a beautiful red barn. I love it here in New Jersey. The Garden State is the greatest state in that state. What did you say about to cabinets? Um, she shouldn't need to clean the cabinets. I can do the windows. I could do the windows. That won't be that big of a job. I don't know. Why don't you ask her? We'll see what the quote. You know, you could say, "Can you give me a quote with or without windows?" If it's not going to be that much more, then we'll have her do the windows as well. Cabinets, I should be able to clean those, no problem. They're not dirty. I know, I can't wait to see it either. I mean, no cabinets, but maybe on the windows. See if you can get two quotes. You know, one with windows, one without windows. And did you tell her about how she's not going to do the garage at all? That's a terrible place to have a hair. There, got it. Earlobe hair. It's gonna be an uncomfortable hair to pluck out. You got one coming right out of your lobe. Have them clean everything so you can just move in and chill. If Rachel pays, you won't feel a thing. Am I enjoying the trip? Seem to be in great spirits. Well, what puts me in good spirits is the fact that we're almost done with this move and that we're moving. Because the actual process of moving was a little bit like soul killing slash joy stealing just because there's so much TE, so much figuring out how to solve this problem, that problem, keeping track of a bunch of stuff, SI stuff, and none of that stuff is in my wheelhouse exactly. But but I do feel like a certain lifting of burden off of me as I get closer to the end of this. I'm still a little stressed out about the prospect of flying with the cats, but what are you gonna do? It's gonna be a long travel day with the cats for sure. Moving is the worst, yeah. Well, it feels like this time feels like the first time I've ever moved. That's what it feels like to me because I've never really done the full thing like I did this. Cats aren't meant to fly. Well, it's the least traumatic way for them to get across the country. We got sedatives for them, but I don't think it's going to last the entire day because we're going to drive 3 hours to Sacramento before we even get on the plane. But we have an extra dose so we can redose them part way if we need to. I think we got liquid, hopefully, so some cats are fine in cars. Well, did I even check what? Did I even check to see if the cats are fine in cars? I know the cats aren't going to be happy in the car. I've had to take them places before. They don't like being in cat carriers. They don't like being in the car. And they certainly are not going to like being on a plane. But the only other way to get them across country would be some sort of ground transport, and that's going to be much harder on them than flight. Yeah, the cats meow incessantly in the car. But hopefully, yeah, they're going to sit with us on the plane. We got an extra seat, in fact. So me on the aisle, Rachel on the window. We got a seat between us. We're going to put one cat on the seat, one cat on the floor of that seat. So that should make it as manageable as possible. It's still going to be, it's still going to be a challenge. But you know, they make airplanes loud for a reason. Like it's not that loud, but uh, there's a lot of white noise on an airplane, and so hopefully, hopefully they don't. If they do meow, it doesn't bother people too much. But you know, regardless, I don't really have any choice. We maybe we'll try that, putting towels over it might help. Hopefully, if they're sedated the right amount, then they'll sleep pretty much most of the time. Use Once you're done with all the moving and you have more time and energy, you should check out Obsidian. But what is it going to do for me? I don't I don't take notes. Like take notes on what? I mean, I could conceivably find myself taking notes on something, but I don't. I'm not sure what need it's going to fill for me. Like I do have some data tracking, organization stuff, planning, but I'm very pleased with the way Claude's dealing with that stuff without needing any additional app for it. Like, so before I left on this trip, I had Claude make a document with all of the information I might need. And as you can see, it's got everything I could conceivably need. So, all the phone numbers, all the confirmation numbers, the the route. As you see, I'm ahead of schedule. I was only supposed to be in Toledo, Ohio tonight, but I'm already past Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and I am into Newton, New Jersey. It is the case that when I'm done moving, I'm going to turn my attention in part to working on a typology book and generally try to integrate what I'm making text wise into what I'm making YouTube wise as well. But the kind of organizational stuff I'm doing is more like, well, Claude, I started it a little bit even though I shouldn't have because I was in the middle of working on moving. But I started it a little bit, and Claude did an excellent job of saying, of, of doing what I wanted it to do, which is organizing all my different ideas. Is like, okay, these are axiomatic level, these are derived from this, these are derived from that, and I was like, wow, that is so helpful. Well, this was delicious. I'm a little sad about not having a fork for the salad. But I'll continue munching on that later some more. Mottos, you did a fine job. You did a fine job of making me dinner. You can link notes together. I'm mainly using it for journaling, tracking mood, substance intake, sleep, exercise, etc. Also for creating to-do lists. Well, sounds like you're having to do a lot of SI stuff. It makes sense that you'd feel like empowered by something that facilitates all that SI. I had Claude keeping track of all of this stuff for this move, but it's also the case that for almost never will I be doing something that requires that much like SI work on my behalf. Generally speaking, I'm not undertaking something so ambitiously out of my wheelhouse. Yeah, he's a good boy. Well, it sounds like it's hitting you right in your polar, it's an absolute value, but it's also a blind spot, so it makes sense that it would be satisfying to have it manage that for you. I'm not sure if it could really do as good a job with if your polar's FI. That one's a little bit trickier to help somebody with. Like, what's important to me, Claude? Well, I don't know. I'd be so impressed if that was Claude's response. What's important to me, Claude? Fuck if I know. It's not in there. Where is it? Where did I put my key? Here it is. For the first time on this whole trip today, when I checked in, the guy asked me if I wanted one key or two keys. I was like, hey, you asked. I've been talking about that. How weird it is that all these hotels keep giving me two keys, even though I'm just one guy. He said, well, we're required to give you two keys if you check in, if you reserve the room ahead of time. I didn't ask why that made any sense, how that made any sense. Are you at the old house, Rick? She's at the old house. But I'll be rejoining her shortly. I will be rejoining her and the cats shortly. Because I am Going to fly back there. There it is, okay. And not too long. But tomorrow's going to be a busy, busy day, because tomorrow is the day when I need to unpack the whole... I have to finish my drive to New York. Yeah, I've got a few hours left. And then I've got to unpack the whole truck. Ideally, including, for example, well, I mean, I'm going to have to set up the bed or else I'm not going to have any place to sleep. But obviously, I'm going to need to set up the TV and the computer. We already have internet there, so that's great. That is great. I don't really know what's important to me, but I can figure out what activities I enjoy. As for people, generally just important to treat people fairly and not be a dickwad. I also value people that can help me and have helped me in the past. I'm not currently planning on hiring anybody to help. I may change my mind. We'll see. The thing is, I loaded the whole truck by myself, and unloading is going to be a lot easier than loading it. Now, granted, there are a couple of exceptions to that, like the mattress and the box spring and this one particular table are like the three things in there that are going to be a bit of a challenge for me to move myself. But I believe in the power of positive thinking. Given how much of a challenge it was to load the truck, in terms of the biggest challenge part of that was securing everything. I had to put one thing in and secure it, and then put another thing in and secure it, and that was quite an undertaking. It took 2.5 days to load the truck, but I'm not going to have to secure anything unloading it, so it should take. I don't think it should take more than 1 day to unload it. We'll find out. You know, if my Wi-Fi goes down to the street, I may live stream part of my unpacking. So you guess you do understand what you care about a bit. Well, thanks, simple girl. Well, y'all, normally people with good front stack FI, they don't care about things and principles. They care about people and pets. This is about as capable as I've ever felt in life, I've felt plenty capable before when doing stuff that's in my wheelhouse, like coaching debate or whatever. But as far as regular, I've never felt nearly as capable as I do now. I'm not avoidant of stuff. I just deal with it, and I've come to understand that ultimately, the buck stops with me, and I gotta just produce results, and that's all there is to it. I don't have the luxury of failing. I mean, I guess technically, I probably have a lot more failure luxury than most people, but ain't nobody else gonna take charge of the things and accomplish them. It's taken 4 years, but I'm definitely feeling much more confident about navigating through life. Yeah, well, me too, Simple Girl. It seems about the same time frame as well. And, it seems like it took me about 3.5 years to come out of the doldrums that followed the death of my parents. And I find I've come out the other side of it uh, a stronger, more fully realized person in many different ways. And I feel like I'm also kind of coming out of my negative self-talk, which probably was a symptom of my avoidance more than anything else. Although it's also the case that some of that had to do with totally accurate self-critiques about my failures as a son. But I've kind of come to terms with it. You know, I failed because I was still a child. I was still a child because my parents were still alive, and I always knew could never be like the man that my dad was. I'm not an ESTJ, but now that I'm the patriarch, well, no more excuses, right? It's like you gotta just put a handle on shit and make sure everything's taken care of, or else, you know, you're fucked, right? So I I don't feel intimidated by that stuff anymore. I may be like, oh God, I have to do this, but that's fine. I I understand that implicit in what I'm saying is the idea that I do things that I don't want to do and they're difficult. I do them because they need to be done, and I do them as well as I can. But as I was saying the other night in our live game, the challenging thing about TE for me is that the way it actually plays out is almost exclusively, oh my God, I wish I had done meow before I did meow because now I did it the dumb way and I wasted a bunch of time and energy. Nobody to take up our slack. I mean, Rachel's been fantastic through this process as well, but she has her things that she needs to do, and I have my things I need to do, and those things were different. I wonder how much the cleaning lady's gonna quote us. I'm curious. My guess is $350, maybe 400, maybe 450 with the windows or something. But we'll find out. Yeah, of course it's okay. It's has a lot to do with why we worked so well together as a team. Like we never, Rachel and I never really discussed at any point anything like, okay, well, this is my priority and these are your priorities and this is what I'm going to do and this is what you're going to do. We just naturally fell into doing different things. And we never really had any conflict or anything. I mean, I think it speaks volumes about a relationship when something as horrible and challenging as moving doesn't cause any conflict between the two of you. She was there with her daughter who was like rubbing her back. Oh, the cleaning lady? So I can roughly separate all the kinds of stuff into three categories: values regarding people and dealing with people, goals, and things I enjoy. Hmm. I mean, certainly being righteous is important to me as well. But it's not something I would think of as important to me if you were to ask me what's important to me. You felt bad because her back was sore? Well, she probably just finished a long day of work. For me, sore backs are pretty easy to treat, you know? Like my back gets sore, I take a hot shower, let the hot water spray on my back, and usually it feels a lot better. So she might be the same way. Well, Rachel, that's going to change. That's going to change because, we've been living in Slugtown where there's nothing to do and we didn't want to do anything. Oh, well, yeah, when you hurt your back, though, you heard it from sleeping wrong or something. It wasn't sore from being tired from a bunch of like bending over, lifting stuff up or whatever. If someone were to ask me what I found most important, it would likely be connecting with people or creating interesting things and contributing to the world. But if I spend too much time around people to where I have no time for projects, I might retreat a little bit to work on projects. I don't have a craving for Jersey Mike's because I got Amato's Pizzeria for dinner, which is a real Italian sandwich. Oh, you hurt your back bending over to Pet Capillo? This happened recently, or is it time I'm remembering? I remember when your back was hurting a lot, but that was a while back. It's easy enough to tweak your back if you turn the wrong direction, bend down too quickly or something. Well, Rachel did have kidney stones, but I don't think that's what she's talking about. Yeah, you were at the time. I remember worried that it was gonna be like that permanently or something. I was like, he'll be fine. I didn't say, oh yeah. I said, oh, cool. I woke up with nasty abdominal pain that got worse when I stood up or sat down. Probably gut stuff. Took a bunch of digestion meds and it got a little bit better. Hmm. I feel fortunate. I've been pretty healthy for a while now. I haven't had to deal with any. I feel very fortunate that I didn't hurt myself at any point during the moving process because if I had, that would have. I mean, I did actually early on cut my finger, but if I had hurt myself in more substantial ways at the wrong time, it could really have put a wrench in our plans, you know. My clozapine can slow digestion, and sometimes that can become dangerous. Hmm. Well, eat some more yogurt. Apparently, that's good for your digestion because of so called probiotics. Well, I think I'm going to go outside and pull some bomb rips at the car, but I can pretty much guarantee you there's not going to be any bars out there. So I'll wait a little while longer, chill with you guys for a bit more. And then I'll wrap it up, go outside, pull some bomb rips, watch some TV, go to bed, try to get up early. Last night, I went to bed fairly early, like I think before 10. But I got up at like 3 in the morning, 3:15 in the morning. And I was on the road by 4 a.m. That's when you start. That's when you make really good time, right? From 4 a.m. to like 8 or 9 a.m., it was just as smooth sailing as you could possibly imagine. But get this, okay? Where do Indiana and Ohio get off making Interstate 80 a toll road? This is an interstate highway that the federal government put in to facilitate people traveling between states without any encumbrance. Ohio and Indiana are like, well, you have to pay to drive on this road. And you know how much you have to pay if you have a truck like I'm driving with a trailer on it? It's like $60. Indiana, Ohio, fuck off already. Drinking plain coffee. I normally prefer lattes or energy drinks, but plain coffee is good for digestion in my experience. That's fine, Putty Cat. Look, I'm not objecting to toll. I do think toll roads in general, in principle, are bad because the government has a, a few core jobs that it's supposed to do, right? Like it's supposed to provide roads is one of those core jobs and maintain roads, and it collects plenty of taxes to do that. The idea that they're going to additionally charge tolls for the roads that you're building with your tax dollars is insane. But in this particular instance, I am complaining specifically about interstate highways. Like an interstate highway, conceptually, is exactly the sort of thing that should not be subject to any toll. No, you're completely right, Putty Cat. I'm not saying I'm fond of toll roads, but least of all do I think it's acceptable for them to make for Ohio and Indiana to make Interstate 80 a toll road. Bridges and tunnels are a little bit more acceptable, but right, there's a lot of bridges around San Francisco that have tolls on them. But it would be great if the government could just provide the few things it's supposed to provide with the trillions of dollars it gets. We'll get an easy pass or something. No, Doyle, I was not able to stay at the Best Western tonight because Uh, I got off on a bad exit on the highway. I wasn't sure exactly where to get off. I had passed where I was supposed to get off already, which was Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And so I kept going and I kept looking out for signs on the highway signs that say like lodging next exit. Meow, 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 meow. And so eventually I just said, well, I'm ready to stop now. So this exit looks good. It's got a town called Andover. I'm pretty sure there's a university there. It must be a different Andover because I don't think there's any university here. I think the opposite of Best Western would be worst Eastern. Don't you think so, Gail? Yeah, the interest on the debt alone is insane. We will see what ends up happening. As for 2026, the federal government is paying roughly $1.2 trillion per year in interest on the national debt. It's fantastic. Oh, well, so it goes, I guess. So it goes. Remember the last time we had a surplus? It was when Clinton was president. This is my issue with math. I can completely understand something, but zone out and miss a step and then feel stupid when I realize I missed a step. Oh, well, that's not stupid. That's just imperfect. Best Western should be an Academy Award category. However, it was at some point. They don't make that many Westerns anymore. Yeah. Well, it's all very depressing. Look at all of these different hotels that are owned by this Holiday Inn company. There are so many different ones. Each one of those is a different hotel, including many that I've never heard of, such as Regent, Vignette, Kimpton, Hotel Indigo, Crown Plaza, Atwell Suites, Candlewood Suites, Hualux. It's like a Chinese hotel, essentially. And of course, Holiday Inn Express. Uh, I couldn't even read that little one there. Not sure what it says. Did I see any sheeps or goats on my drive? Yeah, I saw plenty of goats. I don't remember really seeing any sheep, so I'm sure there was. I saw some deer as I was leaving Montana going across the Continental Divide. Maybe it was leaving Utah actually. I saw a lot of like not regular deer. They were like I don't know, maybe they were elk or something. Hmm. But it's really surprising just how much of the country along I-80 is just either fields or wilderness or unpopulated areas. Like almost all of Pennsylvania is that way, which totally shocked me because I expected going through Pennsylvania that, all right, well, at this point, I'm getting pretty close to the East Coast, so it's bound to be pretty densely populated. Not at all. All the way through Pennsylvania on I-80 is just what they call the Pennsylvania Wilds. I stopped at a rest area and read about it. Ohio ain't nothing but corn. A lot of corn. Yeah, I saw a lot of corn. More corn than you could shake a stick at. Mm. Well, life is strange. Life's a strange phenomenon. I watched this video, I guess it was either early this morning on my phone, or I think it was maybe last night, right before I went to bed. There's this video by this physics guy explaining why it can't possibly be a simulation that we're in because in order to simulate all the level of detail the observed universe that we observe require this much power or something. It's like, this video had over 1 million views and it was full of like the guy knows his physics really well, right? But his argument is so fucking dumb because it ignores what we'd have to actually do to talk meaningfully about a simulation, right? Like you can imagine a simulation of the solar system, the planets moving around the sun at their various speeds and orbital planes. You can imagine one of these mobiles kind of things that's going on in a science class where there's a motor that spins the different things at different speeds and it's simulating the solar system, right? So the whole point of a simulation is that it's not representing the actual everything and the mechanisms of actual everything. It's instead pretending to do that, to demonstrate some aspect of it, if in the case of a model, or to appear to be doing that in the case of like SimCity 2000 or something. Additionally, in order to meaningfully address the question of whether you're not in a simulation, you've got to address the question of what kind of simulation. Are we talking about a simulation like, say, The Sims, where everyone and everything is simulated? Or are we talking about a simulation that is, say, being projected into your brain and your body is someplace else? In which case, well, obviously, such a simulation would only have to simulate what the person who's receiving the simulation observes. So, wherever it is they are observing, that would be simulated, but it would not require everything else in the universe to be simulated simultaneously. And this guy, he seemed so self-satisfied with his dispatching of simulation theory. In fact, he even said, like, you know, Oh, I know the Elon Musk fanboys are going to be complaining about it in the comments. Believe me, I'm no Elon Musk fanboy at all. But let me tell you, bro, you have mistaken physics for philosophy, and you are not engaging the topic intelligently at all. No matter how smart you are about physics, it doesn't matter because you don't understand what the word simulation means. And no, 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 no. Yeah, I know Newton invented calculus. What would you say Einstein, Galileo, and Darwin are the most important figures in the history of science? No, I'd put Newton in there over Darwin. I mean, I don't think Darwin is an important figure in science at all. And unless you want, I guess, if Hitler's an important person in history, then Darwin's an important person in science. Not important for any good ways, right? He was wrong about things. Galileo, well, he was just one of many people at the time who understood we lived in a heliocentric solar system, but he got famous because he pushed back against the church a little harder than some of the other ones and accordingly incurred consequences. Mobiles. Yeah, they're so cool that they named an entire city in Alabama after them. Also, I'd say that the smartest people in history are include Einstein and Tesla, but there's also old school people who are really smart too, like Leonardo da Vinci. He was quite a busy guy. He did a lot of stuff. Well, he invented the water screw. You know that the screws were originally used to move water? Or was that Archimedes? Yeah, you're right. That was Archimedes who did the water screw. My bad. Yeah, Archimedes qualifies as one of the smartest people of all time, too. You may also include Euclid. We may only determine society is on a downward projection if people stop making butt jokes on YouTube. I saw cool mobile art at the Met once. I look up to Tesla and Da Vinci. I don't look up to Tesla at all, but I'm very impressed by him. I'm also super impressed by Einstein. Einstein is ultimately more impressive because because he did he came up with relativity the right way. He did it purely through thought experiments. And that's how shit that's when you know, okay, this guy is fucking genius. His little photon clock thought experiment tells us everything we need to know about relativity, and his uh, inertial observer, inertial frame of reference thing about the guy falling from the roof. It, you know, that's how reality actually works. That's how truth works, right? Like, if something is necessarily so deduced from these observations, then that's the explanation. There you don't you can then do the grunt level work of trying to validate with empirics, but it was right because it was right from the outset. Empirics didn't make it more convincing that it was right. The experiments were determinate on the matter to begin with. You can't you can't be more convincing than determinate, you know? Yeah, he invented like some kind of, I don't know, like not a death ray, but he invented some kind of death ray. That's in general, I think we need more death rays. Yeah, I don't even own a shelf. Well, maybe you could make one. It's like, why does cabinets even need shelves? Wouldn't it be better if it was just one big open space? Then you could fit big things in there. No, Eric, that's not a good way to do things. Yeah, so Euclid was also super smart. It's crazy to think about how he understood math and how the ancient Greeks in general understood math as being all about geometry and shapes. Seems so strange to the modern mind, right? That the way they understood that, say, 3 cubed equals 9 had to do with, 3 cubes equals 27 had to actually do with shapes, like cubes and stuff. Weird. It's easy to invent stuff when literally nothing's invented yet. I mean, I don't know if it's any easier then, right? It's like compound pulleys. Yeah. I think it's just as difficult to invent something revolutionary at any point in history. When because in every point in history, people are inventing by having like new needs and possible solutions unlocked by previous solutions. I think it's crazy that the ancient Romans they made that crazy concrete that not only could they pour it under the sea and have it form solid blocks of concrete, it never like dissolves or goes away because the technique they used made it such that as the seawater did its stuff to break it down, it had this kind of chemical reaction response that made it extra hard in response to that seawater breaking it down. And contemporary concrete or cement is not as good as what they were using. Whoever invented the clothes hanger was genius. That's a pretty good invention, I guess, if you want your clothes not wrinkled. But personally, I don't care if my clothes are wrinkled. I invented a tape measure with a built-in calculator. Pretty cool. That's not inventing anything. That's just combining two things that already have been invented. Like, I didn't just invent the eyeglass wearing coffee cup. I just put two already existing inventions together. I think I'm gonna go get another cup of coffee. I agree, Putty Cat. You can just fold them and put them in your drawer. Don't even bother with that. Just throw them in a big pile in the corner. Then you can just reach under the pile and grab something every day. Be like a mystery box. What am I wearing today? Oh, I'm wearing these Lycra bicycle shorts and this parka. Cool. Those are two great tastes that go great together. Better bring my glasses too. Lycra makes my feet stink. I don't think you're supposed to be putting it on your feet, though. You're supposed to be putting it on your crotch. Padded crotch lycra. That's what my new corporation is going to make. My new corporation is called Crotch Products. We sell nothing but crotch products. You know, athletic cups, tampons, padded crotch lycra. Touch to begin. That's what she said. That is what she said. Get it in your head. You know what I think I might do? I think I might put a hot chocolate in here too. We're gonna have a real mocha coffee today. Archimedes could not ask Claude for help. I think the invention of the alphabet has been a collaboration of 26 nobles, so. Alright, so this is half coffee, half hot chocolate, all delicious. I mean, obviously the invention of the printing press was a big one, but when I think about things like that, I think, oh, Jesus. It's easy enough to conceive of the concept of such a thing, but what kind of a weirdo said to himself, no, I can make this work. I can make little teeny cut-out letters. And it's like, even if you have the concept and you think, okay, that in theory could work, in practice it would be impossible, right? Because how are you going to make all those little things and make all the things go perfectly and stuff? I don't think so. But somebody else disagreed with me. How's the trip, man? It's going pretty good. You know, not bad at all, really. It really feels like a relief compared against all the tasks that I had to do prior to the trip. It's pretty pleasant overall. I don't find myself viewing it as too much of a big adventure per se, but it is cool to drive across the country, see all these different places, stay at random hotels and random places like Newton, New Jersey. There's a town in Pennsylvania called Limestoneville. Well, that was kind of a strange name for a town. And for some reason, all the towns in New Jersey seem to be called townships. I would like to understand who determined, look, this is day one. Forget about yesterday and the past. Today is day one. Well, I would say steam engine was a more important invention because that's what established all the basic principles of it, like of a chamber that was going to contain a lot of pressure and such. But yeah, the internal combustion engine is not a terrible invention as far as significance. Yeah, this is definitely more delicious. More delicious than just regular coffee was. You know, somebody at some point invented the bong. That was a pretty big invention. Prior to the invention of the bong, everybody had to smoke joints all the time. I'm more delicious than regular coffee? Wow. You like regular coffee a lot too, so that's really saying something. Well, it's nighttime already. Wait. Oh, that's right. I changed my watch. It's actually 9:30. I know you did. I know you did. We also can't discount the invention of the wheel. You know, I actually don't think the wheel's that impressive. Because here's the thing. People already had like sleds of various kinds. And wheels are only preferable to sleds over roads. So really, what's more impressive is the invention of roads. That made wheels meaningfully helpful. I mean, you could also point out the invention of the club is a pretty big deal. Prior to that, people tried to hunt animals just with their hands. They almost never caught it. You know about those Roman dodecahedrons that they found all over the place in Europe, but they don't know what they're for exactly? Well, I heard a pretty good theory about what they're for. It's been proposed that these dodecahedrons fit on top of a pole of a certain length, and that they use them as sight things to determine like how long their equivalent of a mile is. I don't know what unit of measurement the Romans used, but apparently, according to this theory anyway, they were used for basically surveying and making sure they kept the roads straight and stuff. If you think about it, there's so many things that if our civilization were to disappear, archaeologists were to dig up a bunch of things from contemporary society, they'd wonder about plenty of things, like, you know, what are all these fidget spinners for? Well, they spin around. Our working theory is that they're like ball bearings of some sort. Well, no, they're not. They only exist just to do that, to spin around. They don't have any other purpose. Which brings me back to my theory I've expressed before about cave paintings. Have you ever wondered why cave paintings are all so shitty? Like, why were people such bad artists back then? Why were they so incapable of drawing anything that looked like they were good at drawing? You know, they all draw like stick figures, deers, and stuff. Oh, hey there, Ruben. How are you? Anyway, here's the answer to the question. The, the reason all the cave paintings are so shitty is because only cave children were drawing on the walls. Just like in contemporary society, only children draw on the walls. One holiday weekend, the History Channel had the 100 most important inventions, and needles were up there. I think radio and the internet were high on the list too. Internet certainly is a huge invention. Seems calculus was the most important mathematical invention. Well, it was essentially calculus is essentially a rendering of something that's fundamentally non-binary, like curves and shit, into something that can be processed in a binary fashion. Because that's what math has to do if it's going to qualify as math, right? It needs to allow you to make binary determinations. In that regard, I think kind of irrational numbers are an equivalently large math invention because mathematicians can use them to bypass those kind of spectral areas that defy traditional math. I'm ready to cut that short talking about tariffs and the trade war with Canada, but we want to turn our attention back to South Carolina, as we're seeing now. Taking the stage, Darlene Graham and crew at this watch party. The sister of the late Lindsey Graham has successfully taken over her brother's elected office, I guess. Good for her. Oh, I think I did. Seriously? Oh. Guess I put it in here. Well, I'm gonna have to get another key. Oh. Eric, come on, bro. Come on. I should have brought two keys. Yeah, well, he offered me two keys, and I said, no, I only need one key. Well, now don't I look the fool? I certainly do. I guess I will mill about in the hallway for a second. I don't see the guy at the desk, so. Eric, come on. I've been so good about shit like this the whole trip. Not forgetting things, not leaving things places. Until now. Oh, there, you can get out that door right there. Okay. It's good to know. It's okay, people lose their hotel keys all the time. Yeah, I'm not worried about him saying no. Fine, I'll go get another key. I'm just gonna leave you guys over here. I'll be right back. You don't want to get in trouble with Fox. I did. I did.
Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Alright, I got another key. He even made fun of me. So you did need two keys. Yeah, I did need two keys. Because when he checked me out, I was like, no, I don't need two keys. I don't understand why all these hotels give me two keys. I'm just one guy. Alright, well, guys, so you did need two keys. You got me. Here it is. Here it was, right there. Now I have two keys. Losing a key is like losing a rite of passage. Metric sockets are superior? Casey Jones? What are you, some kind of European? I'm sorry, but no. The only things to be measured in metric are drugs and guns. The depth was inside him the whole time. That song by the Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love? It's about Doyle. Yeah, hotel coffee is pretty satisfying. I gotta say though, in Indiana, I was pretty displeased with the coffee at first at the hotel. And I'd only brought 2 bottles of water into the room today. I drank them both because I was super thirsty. And then I tried to have a glass of the tap water. And it totally tasted like a pond. I think that's why the coffee there tasted not so great either. In the end, the love you take is equal to the love you depth. Well said, sir. Well said. I feel like he really needs to know how deep it is, like he's trying not to say it overtly, but he wants the exact measurement. Turns out that her love is 6 feet deep. which is pretty deep for love. Pretty deep indeed. Well, it's 9:41. I guess I better go and probably just not even go smoke bong rips. Well, maybe I will go smoke a couple bong rips. But then, after I'm done with that, I'm kind of coming to watch TV. I'm not taking it with me to smoke bong rips because they're not going to have any Wi-Fi over there. You like millimeters? Well, millimeters are fine because that's what ammunition is measured in. And milligrams is fine because that's what drugs are measured in. Although, isn't it the case that grams are both standard and metric? Because there's like 16 grams in a, wait, no. There's 28 grams in an ounce. Millimeter by millimeter, I snuck up on the villain. Is there a continental breakfast? There is. There's free breakfast here. Millimeter sockets are easy. 22 millimeters, easy. 7/8? Well, don't think about it too much. Just embrace America, okay? That's all you got to do. Apparently, the standard system is non-inclusive toward grams. But so, what would you break down an ounce into if not grams? Just quarter ounce, eighth of an ounce, 16th of an ounce, like that. Teener. Ounces are broken down into obviously teeners and 8 balls and quarters. You don't need grams at all, right? Well, there is a regular shit ton and then there's a metric shit ton. They both weigh exactly 2,000 pounds. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I love you. The ounce is broken down into 437.5 grains or 16 grams. Huh. Drams. There's 16 grams in an ounce? Interesting. So there's a little more than 2 grams per gram. No, a little less than 2 grams per gram. I love you a metric shit ton as well, Rachel. Grains and drams. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. We get enough ounces, you get a stone. All right. Love you guys. See you later. Sleep well. I'll give you a call, Rachel, before I hit the sack. And hasta la vista. I'll probably stream again tomorrow. We'll see when or what time.